Good morning, everyone. My name is Liu Qingli. I'm from Sichuan Normal University. I'm very happy to give you this lecture today. Welcome to China. Welcome to Sichuan. Okay, and today my topic is a taste of Sichuan food, land, and Sichuan people. Okay, before we start, let's think about one question. Why do we start from food? How important is it? In 1826, the French lawyer Anselme Brillant-Savarin wrote, "Tell me what you eat, then I will tell you what you are." Anthropologist K.C. Chang pointed out that Chinese people are especially preoccupied with food, and that food is at the center of, at least it accompanies or symbolizes many social interactions. Then you can see, if you want to understand Chinese people and Chinese culture, you'd better understand or taste the food. As the saying goes, if you want to enjoy food in China, you'd better appreciate the flavor in Sichuan. Then, in the following part, I'll show you what Sichuan people eat, and then you will understand this place, the culture, and the Sichuan people. First, let's enjoy a short video. It was hosted by a famous American TV chef, Martin Yan from San Francisco. He hosted 13 episodes of Sichuan cuisine in 2017 and received favorable and warmly worldwide welcome. I hope from this Chinese American host's perspective, you will be easier to approach Sichuan cuisine and Sichuan culture.
By last count, there are more than 30,000 hot pot restaurants in Chengdu. 30,000. There are only 24,000 restaurants in total in entire New York City. So are we talking about an addiction or obsession? Just how much do the people in Chengdu love their hot pot and why? Pull up a chair, stick around, and you'll find out next on Yan Can Cook.
Yan Can Cook at Chengdu is brought to you by
Finally, I've been waiting for hours. Felt like days. This is by far the most popular hot pot restaurant in Chengdu. And getting a table here is just like winning the lottery. Lucky for me, the owner is a friend, so I get to wait on one of these. I've been here for 4 hours. My turn. I gotta rush up there before I miss my seat. Hot pot, just like fondue. It's a communal pot, cook, put all kind of food inside, everybody help themselves, participate. You cook it for yourself. And then the first thing you do is put green onion right in there and dip it in and get that extra flavor. Now you're ready to go. And the next step, in hot pot, you make your own sauce. Sesame seed oil. In Sichuan, they love sesame seed oil. And then you put a tiny bit of cilantro, chopped. Green onion. This is the basic sauce. In the meantime, food is coming. Look at that. All kind of stuff. Look at this. Ice ball. Just like fondue. Whatever you like, put it in and dip it in.
隐藏着，这个是我们的番茄
哦，番茄汁。Whoa! Look at this. This is a slice of a premium beef. Looks like a sushi bowl. Amazing. Okay. No, you have two sauces here. One is a hot, spicy, numbing chili sauce, and that is a tomato base. Okay, great. Oh, this is a wonderful. What is inside?
鹅肠。
This is goose intestine. Amazing. Look at that. And the ice ball. You know why? Because you want to make it nice and clean and fresh. Okay?
About 10 seconds.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Yeah.
这个是你的，这个是我的。This is in a nice ice bowl. You might ask me, Martin, goose or duck intestine? You know what? For the Chinese, they'll eat anything that's edible. Anything that with 4 legs. Anything that flies. Okay? Cook 10 seconds. You dip it in here. The dipping sauce you have prepared. And then you bite into this and you are ready to enjoy this first bite of the hot pot. In America, there's a saying, no business like show business. The show time. Wow, dangerous. Now, you stretch the noodle, you break it up, tear it apart, and break it again.
Okay, and after enjoying this video of Sichuan cuisine, especially the hot pot, I hope you will have a preliminary understanding of Sichuan cuisine and hot pot especially. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Sichuan cuisine from 3 aspects: history, food, land, food, and people and food. In this way, we are supposed to have an overall understanding of Sichuan cuisine from the scope of time, place, and people. But before we really kick off, let's have a quick look at Sichuan profile. Sichuan province, abbreviated to Chuan or Shu, is located in the southwest part of China. It is divided into 3 autonomous prefectures, 18 prefecture-level municipalities covering an area of 486,000 kilometers. The province has one of the most diversified ranges of ethnic groups in China, including Han, Yi, Zhang, Miao, Hui, and Chang people. With the population of the provincial capital city is Sichuan, its outstanding personality and abundant products make it one of the most prosperous regions of China. Therefore, this area has been known as the land of abundance. Let's look at this picture. These 2 are evacuated from Sanxingdui relics. One is the Golden Mosque. Another is the most interesting one. Let's have a very careful look at it. What is it? And what is it like? Is it like a hot pot? Yes, of course. It's a pottery cookware just like the hot pot we are familiar with. But we're not very sure how the Asian people actually used it. It is still a mystery for us. As the more evacuated, the more puzzled the researchers felt. The only thing we are sure is that it is a long, long history. According to this outline, I will mainly discuss the following parts: Shang and Zhou dynasty, Tang and Song dynasty, migration in Qing dynasty, and after 1949. Okay, so this is the following content we are going to discuss. Okay, now let's start from the first one. Sichuan cuisine may date back to Shang and Zhou dynasty, that is 6000 BC to 256 BC. At that time, the Sichuan Basin and its surrounding areas were rich in wild animals, fruits, vegetables, and fish, and the salt and pepper. Before the Song dynasty, people in Bashu, or we called the Asian name of Sichuan, were good at making exquisite buttery food containers. In the Song Dynasty, a lot of beautiful bronze food containers were made by people at that time. Cooking materials were rather abundant, such as grains, fruit, vegetables, and seasonings. But what did this tableware and cookware unearthed in Sichuan really reveal? Okay, they proved that the initial form of Sichuan cuisine was established 3,000 years ago, or more than 3,000 years ago. From this, we can see Sichuan people's love of food has a very long history. Now, let's come to the Qing dynasty to Wei Jing dynasty. The period from Qing and Han dynasty to Wei and Jing dynasty is the preliminary formative period of Sichuan cuisine. After Qin Shi Huang unified the Asian China, many people in the Central Plains migrated to Sichuan and brought their diet customs, which influenced and merged with the eating cultures of Aborigines in Bashu area. But there was no term of Sichuan cuisine at that time, and it didn't happen until the end of Western Han Dynasty, when a lot of immigrants moved from the central plain of Sichuan or of China to Sichuan. They prospered the economy in this area along with the food culture. The immigrants brought the livestock and the new cooking methods to Sichuan. And the new cooking methods were combined with the local cooking style throughout the past 2,000 years. Sichuan cuisine flourished in Tang and Song dynasty. During this period, Sichuan had relatively developed economy with frequent mobility of population, which prompted the development of Sichuan cuisine. Fish was a high-quality food material in Sichuan at that time. Du Fu, a great poet in the Tang dynasty, highly praised the fish from the Minjiang River and the Yangtze Gorges. Sichuan cuisine didn't develop quickly until the Ming and Qing dynasty, that is from 1368 to 1911. And this period, and we can see the Sichuan cuisine became matured and established in its own system. Since the late Qing dynasty, and during this year, we have years of war, and Sichuan became impoverished and desolated. The emperors of Qing dynasty, from Shunzhi to Qianlong, they took measures such as migrations to Sichuan, this area, greatly promote the economy of Sichuan for nearly 100 years. That is roughly from 1600 to 1700. Thus, there was a huge influx of people from Hubei, Hunan, Guangdong, Jiangxi, Fujian, etc. 60% of Chengdu people, they are immigrants, according to the survey we called Chengdu Tonglan, that is the Chengdu General Survey in 1909. That's to say, most of the Sichuan local people's ancestors actually migrated from other provinces during the Qing dynasty. For example, me and my family, the ancestors of my family, they are from Hubei a long, long time ago. That's why Sichuan cuisine incorporated the cooking style from different places in China. At that time, there were three main sections, including the Up River and Little River and Down River, and then these three sections. Then there are over 20 ways of cooking. From this time on, the feature of Sichuan cuisine was basically illuminated as 1,000 dishes, 1,000 flavors. Every dish has its own flavor. Or in Chinese, we call it 一菜一格,百菜百味. After the foundation of People's Republic of China in 1949, or especially after 1980s, China's economy continued to grow. with the improvement of chefs' political status and literacy, there was an integration of Sichuan cuisine and foreign dishes in cooking techniques. Now, Sichuan cuisine is of great variety, personalization, and modernization. The distinctive character of Sichuan's cuisine has grown out of this long history of immigration and cultural fusion. It is worth remembering that Sichuan has been a cultural and culinary melting pot for thousands of years. As local people proudly claim, their province is extremely open, adaptable, and inclusive. After we understand the history of Sichuan cuisine, we'd better switch our attention to the place itself, say the land here. Then in the following part, we will see how the land influences or even shapes food production, cooking style, or even people's appetite. Let's first look at this abundant land. What does the fertile land mean? What can it produce? How much can it produce? Okay, and then in the following part, I will discuss this part from 6 aspects. Now let's start from the first aspect, fertile land. Sichuan is known as heaven on earth or the land of abundance because there are fertile plain and rich water resources here. There are also hills, mountains, and plateaus here. The variety of landscape bring various kinds of food materials for Sichuan cuisine, such as rice, wheat, sorghum, chicken, dog, fish, pig, and cow, etc. Since the climate here is basically mild and humid, different kinds of vegetables grow all the year round in Sichuan province. The river is also very important. Then let's think about how and why it is important in food culture. Okay, first, Sichuan is also called a province on the 4 rivers. Therefore, the river created this prosperous land. There are many rivers in Sichuan, mainly the Yangtze River system. The other 3 major rivers in the province, such as Minjiang River, Tuojiang River, and Jialing River. Minjiang and Jinsha River merge into the Yangtze River in Yibin, which tumbles down the mountainside and meander through the flat farmland. My hometown is from Yibin, and then I know from this city, the Yangtze River really actually came into being. Rich water resources not only brought rich food materials and promoted the economic prosperity, but also facilitated the exchange and migration of Asian places, making the food culture of various places integrate together. River facilitated the communication and the contact of different areas, integrating the food culture of different places. Sichuan cuisine is famous for being spicy, but only about 40% of Sichuan dishes can be considered spicy. Its greatest strength is its greatest number of influences from other cuisines and overall flexibility or adaptability. As we know, Sichuan is located in the basin. It is humid and foggy, and the sun may not frequently shine, especially in winter. So here there's a saying that in Sichuan, dogs bark at the sun because it's a rare sight to see the sunshine in the gloomy winter. In general, the weather is humid, which easily makes people feel bored and uneasy. For the long run, it's possible for the Sichuan people to suffer from rheumatism. As a basin area, Sichuan has heavy and lingering precipitation in the winter. So, the spicy food is used to drive away excess moisture from the body, induce sweating to defend against the humidity, improve blood circulation, and thus make people merrier and happier. By the way, it also has some amazing byproduct. Guess what? It can promote smoothness of local people's skin, especially women. That's why we have so many beauties in Sichuan. Besides the geographical features of Sichuan, such as the soil, temperature, and moisture, meet the requirement of peppers cultivation and growth. Okay, next, let's look at three main subsections in Sichuan cuisine. We have the upriver section, and the downriver section, and a small river section. So firstly, we will start from the upriver section. After we had a general knowledge of the geographic features of Sichuan, we will fully get why this kind of cooking style and eating habit evolved on this land. In general, Sichuan cuisine is a style of Chinese cuisine originated from Sichuan province in southwestern China. It has bold flavors, particularly the pungency and spiciness resulting from liberal use of garlic and chili peppers, as well as the unique flavor of the Sichuan pepper. And so that's why just now I said Sichuan cuisine can be generally divided into three sections according to the place, cooking style, and flavor. Now let's look at the first section, upriver section. Okay? And the upriver section usually covers Chengdu and Leshan. The dishes taste comparatively milder than the other two sections. Say that the flavor or the food in this place is not that spicy. Most of the high-class dishes of Sichuan cuisine that used to serve royals and nobles from this section. Presently, the standard of making real Sichuan-style dishes are based on this section. Apart from the high-class dishes, the refreshments, which are considered an important part of the Sichuan cuisine, are also a part of the upriver section, including the pickles, bean jelly, tofu pudding, rice crust, snacks, sausages, etc. There are a large number of famous dishes in this section. Okay, now let's come to the small river section. The small river section comes from and centers on Zigong, especially Zigong, this area. Apart from owning the general features of Sichuan cuisine, which are 100 flavors from 100 dishes that are cooked in 100 methods, the small river section also have this very intense and spicy and pungent flavor. The style of this section is unique in terms of being fragrant, spicy, and fresh. It is characterized by thick, heavy, and rich taste and the frequent use of pepper and ginger, especially fresh ginger. The small river section gave birth to the method of poaching in chili oil. Okay? Poaching in chili oil, this is a very important method in Sichuan cuisine. The beef and fish poached in chili oil are widely known for its freshness and deliciousness, as well as keeping warmth of the dish. There are more than 100 representative dishes of this small river section, or in Chinese we call it 小河帮. Here are some typical dishes in this section. For example, boiled beef, cold rabbit, And now here, this picture, we have the cold rabbit and fushun bean jelly and spicy ginger fish. And now here, this is a picture of the spicy fresh ginger fish that is very spicy and delicious. Okay, in the Dong River section. The Dong River section centers on Chongqing and the surrounding areas. Due to the mountainous areas in eastern Sichuan, Chongqing, Dazhou, and other areas, and especially the dog culture, okay, and along the Yangtze River. The dishes of Dong River section are less delicate and less carefully prepared, but they are known for the choice of raw materials and the fast updating of the menus. The Dong River section is also influenced by a large number of immigrants from Jiangsu and Zhejiang in our China after the founding of the new China. Compared with the other two sections, this section, its characteristics is homely made or the spicy dishes, and also its popularities and the innovations. It's commonly known as Jianghu cuisine. In Chinese, we call it Jianghu Cai. Most of them originated from local people's family kitchen or very small restaurants and gradually spread among the local people. It is relatively cheap, not very delicate, but still very delicious and popular. In addition, the famous Chongqing spicy and pungent food is the hot pot. Okay, and the hot pot here, I have this picture in this page, and you can see this is the typical Chongqing hot pot. And then here, hot pot is the most famous and favorite dish in Chongqing. But nowadays, Chongqing hot pot is famous and popular all over the country. The soup base matters a lot. If the hot pot is yuanyang type, or in Chinese we call it yuanyang type, right? And that is to say it is mainly divided into two kinds of soup. We have the red soup and the clear soup. And the customers, they are advised to enjoy the pure flavors of the soup before adding anything to it. And then the hot pot becomes more and more adaptable in different cities and regions. Therefore, it became more and more popular. Even my 3-year-old daughter would like to eat in a hot pot restaurant near my house because she knows there are some sweet pudding for children apart from the hot pot of the clear soup base. So you can see how popular is it. Okay, next. This magic land also produces a lot of magic seasonings. They are just like the soul of Sichuan cuisine. For example, we have the zhigong whale salt, Neijiang white sugar, Wenjiang garlic, and chili. That is the soul of Sichuan cuisine, very, very popular. And then we have yibin sprout, Nanchong preserved cabbage, and Xinfan pickle, and Sichuan peppercorn. Okay, now I would like to show you a video. And before I show you the video, and then I have another question to ask you. Among these various seasonings, do you know which one is the most important one? And do you know where is it from? Okay, now let's watch this video.
Chengdu is hot because it is a dynamic and happening city. Hot because Sichuan is hot and humid in the summer. Hot because chili is prominently featured in much of Chengdu's dishes. It is a permanent fixture in its culture. Alert your taste buds. Things are getting hot on Yan Can Cook.
Yan Can Cook Spice Kingdom is brought to you by
Mention about Chengdu and Sichuan cuisine, and what comes to mind? Hot and spicy dishes. Hey, what makes them so hot and so spicy? One word, chilies. In Chengdu, the best place to find chilies is right here at the spice market. To show me around this morning is my pal, Chef Chow of the Green Leaf Restaurant. Chef Chow is a local chef and have plenty of training. He worked in the south of France, among other places. But Chengdu is his root. So chili is a very important, vital part of his repertoire. So today, I'm going to learn something about chili. Most of the chili that we find are all whole chili. And this is a chili powder. But I noticed that you got the fine powder, the crushed powder. This is finely crushed. This is less finely crushed. Tell me the difference.
Yeah, there are all kinds of the chili and chili powder. Yes, first we looked at the chili, the whole chili. This one is good for cook the hot pot. This one is good for cooking the Sichuan dishes, very traditional dishes, and making the sauce, very special sauce, such as the chili sauce.
Also you have, and this one is totally different. Now, this has got a wrinkle.
Yeah, maybe this is a flavor. It's different. This is harder.
This is much harder.
Yeah.
This is just aromatic. It's not.
Yeah.
So different dishes using different type of chili.
Yeah, this type of chili is cooking for making the hot oil. Yes, for the chili oil.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot of chili powder. And then I noticed that this is finely crushed, but this is less crushed. So what's the difference?
Yeah, this the aroma and the flavor is different, totally different. This one, I think it's better for cooking the chili oil.
Oh, chili oil?
Yeah. The crushed one, you look, there contains a lot of scents because the aroma is better than this.
Oh, the aroma is better because of the skin and everything. And how about the less crushed one?
It's a different chili.
Oh, different chili. Oh.
Yeah, the aroma is a different.
Oh, so that means it's not only the size of the crush, whether it's powder or finely crushed, it is actually from different type of chili. Maybe from this or this or this. Oh, I learned something. Let's go inside and check out the inside, the chili. How does this for an interesting fact? Red chili peppers are not native to Chengdu or even China. They are originally from Mexico. Yes, Mexico. Also from South America. They were brought back to Europe, and there are actually two theories on this. One, it came on the Silk Road, and then two, on ships sailed from Africa by the Portuguese sailors. But however they came, it didn't take long for the local to fall in love with this magical spice. Hot and spicy food seems to be most suitable for hot and humid climate in Sichuan. Spicy food makes you sweat, and sweat cools off your body.
Yes.
And not only that, it stimulates your appetite. So the more chili, the more hot pot, the more Sichuan cuisine, the merrier. And that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, very true. Smell amazing.
Yes, amazing.
Yes. I never see so much Sichuan peppercorn before.
Yep.
Look at it, it's all red. How do you tell the difference? What are the criteria?
Okay, I will show you how to choose the best Sichuan peppercorn.
You use your nail to squeeze it out.
Yeah.
And you see oil come out. Wow, you
Yeah,
see oil.
Okay, just now we watched this video about the chili, right? And then you may get to know that the chili is actually from the foreign countries. Okay, so we'll see the chili is actually an immigrant to Sichuan, let alone on our country. Okay, and now it becomes so popular in our China. And then here, let's look at some more seasonings and ingredients here in Sichuan food. Okay, now apart from the chili as an immigrant among these seasonings, most of the Sichuan locals are the descendants of those immigrants from other provinces in Qing Dynasty. No wonder that their food culture also remains variety in the process of integration and melting with each other for centuries. After we discussed how the land decides and shapes the food production and food culture, we will explore the interaction between human being and food. That is, Sichuan people and Sichuan food. Okay, first, let's start from the peoples, and actually they are the immigrants from other provinces many, many years ago. Okay, so these immigrants, they played a very significant role in Sichuan cuisine. For example, there is a very typical story about the immigrants and the food. And here, specifically, one of the seasonings which add unique flavor to Sichuan cuisine, that is Baoning vinegar. And I'll show you here this picture. Okay, this picture just tells us the history of Baoning vinegar. Okay, Baoning vinegar in Langzhong is very famous because there were some immigrants from Shanxi province in early Qing dynasty. In Qing dynasty, a man named Suo Yiting, he left his hometown in Shanxi as a refuge, and he was a master of producing vinegar. When he settled down in Langzhong, and this is a small city in the north of Sichuan, he tried to make a living by producing vinegar. But he didn't completely follow the Shanxi method. Instead, he tried to adapt to the local environment to some degree, reformed the technique of the producing the vinegar. And then the production of vinegar in Langzhong is thriving for centuries and is still a very famous brand in Sichuan. And Suo Yiting is even worshipped by the local people as the god of vinegar. This example also well explained why vinegar is frequently used in Sichuan cuisine. Apart from Shanxi immigrants, there are a lot of immigrants from Hubei, and then here from this picture you can see there are a lot of immigrants from Hubei, Hunan, Guangxi, Fujian, etc. And then there is a lot of Hakka in Chinese, we call it 客家人, and then this group of Hakka, they are from Fujian and Guangdong. It was said that the very popular Sichuan broad bean paste, in Chinese we call it 郫县豆瓣. Right? They are, or this Sichuan broad bean paste was made by the Hakka on their road of immigration to Sichuan. And also noodles are very popular in Sichuan. And then you can see this is yibing noodle, we call it yibing mian, and then this is 饺子, okay, 饺子. So you can see we can declare all these kind of noodles are almost as popular as the ones in the north. But the way of cooking and their condiment are totally different, and therefore the flavor is different. Compared with the noodles in the north, Sichuan noodles are more spicy and more diversified. Okay, now in the next picture, we will have a clear picture of this diversified food in different places of Sichuan. So you can see here in different cities and different places, there are very typical special dishes, okay? And then because of the Sichuan Basin, this land of abundance, Sichuan people live a life of leisure. And Sichuan people love playing mahjong, and they love playing mahjong anytime, everywhere. For example, on some lovely sunny days in the holidays, or on birthday party, or even in the funeral, they will play mahjong. Okay, and then here, this picture. Okay, this picture you can see the Sichuan people. They just played mahjong by the crystal creek or brook or stream here down the mountain. Okay, that was very happy, right? Okay, yes, and then they just like playing mahjong. Almost here just now I mentioned every time or everywhere, right? Okay, and then it is an important and necessary entertainment in Sichuan people's life. But it is a pity that I'm not so good at playing that. Okay, and then, by the way, there are a lot of tea houses here. In this picture, we'll see that Sichuan people, they like going to the tea houses, especially in a sunny day, right? Okay, and also we have the Sichuan opera. I love that. So frankly speaking, our love of life is the same as our love of food, and both are powerful and endurable and deeply rooted in Sichuan people's body and mind. Okay, and because it is located in the southern west of China, far away from the political center, and then there is a great number of minority people such as Tibetan, Yi, Qiang, Miao, etc. They lived in this land. And then the people here, they are in general bold, frank, and direct. Okay. Because of the different ethnicity, the food culture are also very diversified and colorful. Okay, and then in general, Sichuan people, just now I mentioned, is bold, direct, and of course they love this spicy food, especially wei mi. Okay, and the wei mi in Sichuan, they are generally very powerful and also very hot. We call it hot lady, right? There is a joke that we do not only have delicious food, fragrant tea and liquor, but also we have hand-packed man here. Right? Now here in this picture, you can see in the Sichuan opera, and he is a very typical hand-packed man in the Sichuan opera. Okay, of course, these men are the happiest mortal beings in the world, living at leisure and sweet and cozy. Apart from the famous Sichuan cuisines, Sichuan tea and Sichuan liquor may contain different tastes, but they all reflect the comfortable and relaxing lifestyle of Sichuan people, which has deeply integrated into the local people's blood and their character. Okay, and then in the history, there are some typical Sichuan celebrities, very famous Sichuan people, who are just the experts of cooking and eating, or in Chinese we call them foodie. In Chinese, 资深吃货. Okay, so let's guess who are they? Okay, and then first is Su Dongpo. Okay, Su Dongpo, he was born in 1037 and then died in 1101. Okay, and he was a famous poet in Song Dynasty, and he was a real foodie. Okay, many dishes were named as Dongpo, and the Dongpo cuisine series are based on the cultural influence of Dongpo. For example, we have the Dongpo pig knuckle, Dongpo meat, Dongpo fish, and Dongpo cake. They are not only famous dishes, but also they become very popular dishes among the common people. Okay, and then here in this picture, you can see Su Dongpo. He wrote a very famous poem about the moon and the moon or the Mid-Autumn Festival. Okay, and then this picture is about Su Dongpo and the Dongpo meat. Okay, and now let's look at the next one. Su Dongpo, he was a master of heat in cooking, or he was a master of cooking. Okay, and when Dongpo was in Huanggang, and he tried to make a poem about cooking meat. Okay, and so there's a story. Okay, there's a story, and then he want to make a poem in the process of cooking. Okay, so that's why he prepared everything. And then after he finished cooking the meat, he also finished this poem. Okay, so here in this poem, he said, "Slow fire, gentle heat, less water, and it is wonderful when the heat is enough." Okay. And then I also hope that I could become him, writing great poems while cooking delicious food. Okay, and now Another representative foodie is Li Jieren. He was born in 1891 and died in 1962. I have to say he was very close to us because he was a Chengdu local and lived quite close to our university when he was alive. We can visit his old home. Now it is a museum for just a 10 minutes walk from the north gate of Sichuan Normal University. And now in this picture, we can see the Li Jieren's old house or Li Jieren's museum. Okay? And then Li Jieren was a famous writer and folklore expert. He wrote some famous novels such as Ripple of Dead Water in 1935. We call it 死水微澜, or that is very famous. And then another one is Before the Storm, and then another novel is 大波. His works are about a large number of local customs and tradition. Li Jieren likes cooking. In his writing, he focuses more on Sichuan cuisine, especially the ordinary people of daily cooking. And there's a story about Li Jieren. After he quitted his teaching position in Chengdu University, now known as the Sichuan University, as a kind of protest against the local warlord government in 1930, he ran a restaurant called Xiaoya in Chengdu, where a lot of professors and intellectuals frequented there. I don't know if he made a lot of money at that time from this small restaurant, but his restaurant was very well known among the Chengdu intellectuals at that time. In his novel 大波, there are many detailed descriptions of all kinds of Sichuan cuisine and Chengdu snacks and the local restaurant, which gave the readers an overall and picturesque photograph of Sichuan cuisine. Okay, the last foodie is a famous painter named Zhang Daqian. He was born in 1899 and died in 1983. He once said, "In terms of art, I am good at cooking more than painting." Zhang Daqian believed that eating is the highest art of life, at the artistry of brush and ink. But the food aims at the art of taste. He was also called the master of Sichuan cuisine. Okay, and now from this PPT, you can see there are some paintings of vegetables painted by Zhang Daqian. Okay, and now here next. When Zhang Daqian traveled abroad, when he lived overseas, when he traveled abroad, he always introduced Sichuan cuisine to some foreign friends. And when he stayed in Taiwan, he got acquainted, he became the friend, he known Zhang Xueliang and other celebrities in Taiwan, and he often cooked for them and even wrote the recipe on the painting. There's a story, okay? And in 1981, on the Lantern Festival, he treated General Zhang Xueliang and his wife at home with 16 dishes he cooked. Later, Zhang Xueliang, he bounded the menu of Zhang Daqian into a book and asked Zhang Daqian to sign his names on the recipe book as a souvenir. Okay, and here is the painting, and then you can see the 6 dishes of the menu here. We can see here in Chinese, 干贝鸭掌, 红烧豚蹄, etc. And then below the menu, and then you'll see Zhang Daqian's painting. After I introduced these 3 experts of cooks and foodies, I hope you will have a clearer understanding of Sichuan cuisine, and then you will understand Sichuan people's strong love of delicious food. Then, at the end of today's lecture, I will introduce another 2 famous dishes in Sichuan cuisine, since I already introduced the hot pot at the beginning of the class. First, it is 麻婆豆腐. Sometimes it is known in English as pock-marked old woman's tofu. It is a literal translation, right? Okay, and then 麻婆豆腐 is one of the top 10 famous Chinese dishes, and it enjoys a high popularity among not only Chinese people, but also many Western people or Western countries, okay? And then this glorious dish is named after the smallpox-scarred wife of a restaurant owner. In the late 19th century, Old Mother Chen, or in Chinese we call it Chen Ma Po, and is said to have cooked this tofu near the Bridge of 10,000 Blessings, in Chinese, 万福桥. So here in this picture you'll see 万福桥. And so she was used to have cooked this tofu near this bridge and in the north of Chengdu for passing neighbors. At the very beginning, she just sold the vegetarian dishes, and then she added grounded beef into the tofu because the guests wanted some meat. And the tofu she made was spicy, tender, delicious, and hot. And because of her, 麻婆豆腐 got its name and become the world-known brand. And now let's just watch a video about 麻婆豆腐.
Water is life. Maybe I should add, better water adds to the better quality of life. This village has a very interesting name. It is called 小鱼洞, or Little Fish Hole. And it's true to the farm. There's a fish farm right here. They pipe in fresh water from the mountain stream, and it is the best water for raising fish. So cool. There are over 10 different varieties of fish here. The cooler temperature of the mountain water is providing a perfect habitat for them. It looks like water doesn't just benefit agriculture, it also sustaining other food sources. This is good news for fish lovers all over Chengdu. When making the perfect dish, we look for the freshest ingredients, perfect technique, and the ideal combination of spices. There is still one thing missing: pure spring water. Mapo tofu is one of the most popular dishes in Sichuan. Millions of chefs around the world will cook it tonight. But what makes this dish so special here in Chengdu? Remember these tips: high heat, hot oil, ground beef, and thicken in multiple times before serving. First, we cook the beef and set that aside. Then we heat up some spicy bean paste and chili powder in a wok. When the oil turns red, add fermented black beans and minced Chinese leeks and the first cornstarch thickening solution. We poach the tofu gently. Don't break the cubes. Return the main ingredients. Cook. Thicken again. The cornstarch solution is added in different stages. This will hold the velvety consistency of the dish throughout the meal. Look at this. This is what makes this dish a true classic. The tofu is cut to perfect shape and handled with care to keep it from breaking. Once again, let us not neglect the importance of water. Hey, too much, it will become soup. Too little, the whole dish dries up. Hey, this is just right. A classic Sichuan dish is born. Water, that which gives life. This is how the city first planted its roots thousands of years ago. The pioneers took this gift from nature and nurtured it to create the grand city that is Chengdu today.
You can visit our website to learn more about Martin and his travels, get information about upcoming events, find and print selected recipes, provide email feedback, and more. It's all at yancancook.com. Yan Can Cook at Chengdu is brought to you by
Okay, and after watching this video of Mapo Doufu, now let's go to the last dish that is also very famous and popular. Okay, and then it is so common and popular that almost every family cook it nearly every day. Okay, and then the English name is literally translated from the Chinese name 回锅肉, but in English we call it twice cooked pork. Okay, because you know the Chinese name comes from the cooking process, because 回 means return or twice. So the twice cooked pork derives its name from the fact the pork is first boiled and then stir-fried. The main ingredient of twice cooked pork, namely boiled pork, was used to lay on an altar for ancestral sacrifices. So here you can see from these two pictures, and then this kind of pork, okay, this kind of boiled pork was used to lay on an altar for us to memorize our ancestors. Okay, and now after that, the pork can be put into other uses. So this is how twice cooked pork came about. And from this dish, we can also see that in the history or in our Sichuan culture and even Chinese culture, food is closely related with our belief and our worship of our ancestors. Okay, and then since we have discussed food from the perspective of history, land, and people, we have these chronological or historical and geographical and humanistic understanding of Sichuan cuisine and Sichuan culture. At the end of the class, I want to ask you one more question. And I asked before, chili. Okay, that is about chili. You know, chili that was introduced from American continent for more than 300 years ago. And then let's think about this question. Or chili, we call it Sichuan pepper, right? And why can it play so significant role in changing and molding the culture and character of Sichuan people? Now you can see chili now becomes so local and native here that few people realize it was actually foreign to us. So after you get the answer to this question, you may understand that how open and how tolerable, how friendly our Chinese culture is. So my friend from Pakistan, my friend from Korea, and I sincerely hope that after you have a taste of Sichuan, you will understand our culture and also you will understand our people. Okay? And then from today's lecture, I hope that you may understand who we are and what we eat. Okay, and then at the end of today's lecture, please enjoy some pictures. Then, at the end of today's lecture, I want to show my warm welcome to every friend from Pakistan and Korea. And I sincerely hope that you can come to China. So welcome to China, welcome to Sichuan, and welcome to Sichuan Normal University. Okay, that's all for today's lecture. Thank you. Goodbye.